continuing going with this little idiot, he is saying some things. He enjoys being in this position. Again, it's something we'll discuss later. But he's using those same sort of excuses for authoritarianism that people have used over the course of recent modern history. It's this idea of the collective first, the individual. Well, it's like the quasi-fascism, right? A lot of great Austrian economists have pointed this out. I will mention this as well, because I've mentioned it in my own words, history of fascism. And what Mussolini was talking about in terms of the individual, nothing out of the state. So he said that person only has the ability, the right, if you will, and that individual is only allowed to be an individual if it fits within the confines of what the state wants. And that's basically what these guys are advocating. We're going to listen to what Fauci had to say on talking about vaccine mandates and all this, little 35-second clip. Let's listen to it, this jackass real quick.
But you are a member of society.
Here we go, guys.
Member of society.
Every time. They love that term. First of all, it's a fluffy, meaningless term, right? Society. We live in a society. They always say that. And they conjure this idea up that there is some sort of responsibility forced upon you that you owe the society, which, again, a complete nonsensical term when you're applying this to individuals. A society. We live in a society. But it's a way for them to say that there is some sort of inherent responsibility for you that isn't there. It's arbitrary. And they know that, but they want an excuse to be able to utilize their sort of authoritarianism. We live in a society. They always say that.
Reaping all the benefits of being a member of society.
And again, he talks as if that benefit, quote unquote, is something that isn't already paid for and established, right? So you look at a community of people that may do certain things. Everybody has their own job. Doesn't matter where you're living, small, big, doesn't matter. Nobody owes anybody within that society anything because everything happening within it is voluntary. So the person that is a cook, right, is cooking the food, right, for the patron that wants to eat the goddamn food. The only thing they owed is that dollar, right, that was paid for that food in the event that the person selling the damn food wanted it. So they valued the dollar more than the food. You valued the food more than the dollar. Bam, voluntary exchange. There is no other requirements there. There is no other responsibility. It's a contractual obligation that has then been served. We're done here. That doesn't matter what it is. I go to the goddamn car wash and I want my car to be washed by whoever's there, detail shop or whatever it is. They go and they detail the whip. We're done here. You value the dollar more than the detail or your labor or whatever, and vice versa. Bam, we're done here. Whatever obligation has already been served. So they have make this shit up like, okay, we live in this community or this society, and this benefit of living here, you now owe even more things. Like, wait a minute, no. For one, you've stolen from me to pay for shit that I didn't ask for you to do, that I didn't ask you to steal from me to do. If I did actually want the service, I would pay for it like anything else. But seriously, there is no other obligation. It's a voluntary exchange that happens. If I want something or I need something, I go purchase it from the person that is then providing it. We exchange. We're done. Right? Thank you for your service. We're out of here. But when you want people to do what it is that you want them to do, and you want an excuse to force them to do it, well, you say, well, you reap the benefits of some arbitrary thing, right, that we have established and set. Therefore, now, not only do you owe us money, you owe us obligation to do a certain thing that we want you to do.
You have a responsibility.
No, I don't, jackass. No, I don't. I have no responsibility to anything other than what I have entered in contractually, and that's where the buck fucking stops. Don't allow these authoritarian pieces of trash to present you, or rather place upon you, a responsibility or obligation that you don't have. This is why I've always hated this. It takes a village. No, the fuck it don't. Don't take shit. You raise your own goddamn kids. You placing an obligation on someone else.
I think each of us, particularly in the context of a pandemic that's killing millions of people, you have got to look at it and say there comes a time when you do have to give up what you consider your individual right of making your own decision for the greater good of society.
He belongs in a goddamn, he belongs under the motherfucking prison. He does. He really does. Everything that he is saying is everything. If you go look into the works, and we've covered this on this channel in long form. Go look at my history of socialism, for example, video. Long fucking form. I've broken this down. I got the receipts to show you. But I will name individuals who said that same shit and it resulted in the deaths of millions of fucking people. Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao, Mussolini, fucking Hitler. Between those five, we probably looking at 500 fucking like on the closest, to 500,000 to multiple, what am I talking about? 100 million deaths. What am I talking about? Just between the ones I just mentioned. And they always preface it by saying, you owe the society something. This is for the greater good. Your individual rights don't matter. And I will be the first to tell you, anybody that says that, again, belongs, the great Hopper says, must be physically removed if we are to have to exist within a freer society. Because that person is advocating aggression upon you, wants to disregard your individuality, wants to disregard your individual rights, from which all rights stem from, you as the individual. And they want to exercise whatever act of aggression that they want to, and it's all because the greater good. Every dictator, tyrannical regime has done exactly that. I am doing this because I care for my people. Oh, whoops, we just happen to kill millions of fucking people. That's not only dangerous rhetoric. If the principle, or rather the right, does not exist upon a hard time, then it doesn't exist ever. So you don't get to say, well, now we're in a pandemic and therefore your individual right doesn't exist. That's not how this shit works. The individual right exists all the time. You do not get to disregard it because you're scared of something with a 99% survival rate. You don't get to do that. Individual rights are inherent in every single individual, obviously, all stemming from, of course, private property rights, starting with the simple fact that you own yourself and therefore your own body. Every single actual right, and I ain't talking about what you thought the government gave you. Even your beloved founders agreed with me on this. Every single, what is deemed as a legitimate right is inherent in the fact that you exist as a human being. It's not government created. It is not up for suspension or anything like that. You don't get to suspend it just because you call yourself scared. He belongs under the goddamn prison. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.